They're independent, by the way. My 13-year-old girl's like, I'm independent. Like, thanks for asking me that question. My father is an amazing man. My parents split up when I was younger, so my father brought up 5 of us. He worked, never missed a day of work in his life. I never once heard him say a bad word about anybody else. I'll tell you a little side story. Whenever I think of my dad, he was always so supportive of me being an actor. He thought I was a little thin-skinned, but he said, you better toughen up. But he was always supportive. And there was one time when I was performing in Carnegie Hall, and I was very nervous. The first time I'd sung in America, we were doing Carousel. And my father flew 24 hours from Australia. He did actually take 3 days off work. He flew 24 hours from Australia. He arrived, saw the concert, got straight back on the plane, 24 hours straight back to the office. And on his way from the airport, I told him, by the way, he's an accountant, so he needed to know everything, itineraries, dress code, seating, hotels, you name it, everything. And I said, Dad, I've got it all sorted. It's black tie. I'll call you when you land. So when he landed, I just found out that it wasn't black tie. It was actually business casual. Now, Dad was there for 12 hours, right, from Australia, so I think he's probably wearing flip-flops and shorts and, a black tie in one hand. And I rang him and I said, Dad, you've got to get a suit or something else. It's not black tie. And he said, don't worry, I've got it covered. And I said, okay. He said, but do me a favor. It would mean a lot to me if I could pick you up at the hotel and walk you to the stage door at Carnegie Hall. I was quite touched by that. I said, of course, meet me at 6:15 and we'll walk over together. So 6:15 on the dot, he's an accountant, knock on the door and I open up and my father was standing in the hall in full black tie, right? And I'm like, Dad, it's not black tie. Seriously, no one is wearing black tie. Nobody, except for the choir. Everyone's going to think you're a baritone, Dad. Please, don't. And he looked me in the eye and he said, my son is singing at Carnegie Hall. It is black tie for me. Just, when I say a rock, ethical, truthful, positive. We were brought up in the church. He always taught us there is always something bigger than us. Make sure you've got your priorities in line. Every time I ever saw him, how's your faith? That's what he would always ask me. And always be appreciative to the people around you. Everybody needs to feel appreciated. It doesn't matter who you are. And always get educated. He believed in education so much. He spent all his money. I actually thought we were poor, even though he was a senior partner at Pricewaterhouse, because all the money went on education and everything else was hand-me-downs, right? But he just gave me such a foundation for life. I mean, when we got our pocket money, Kirk, sorry, I'm not giving you a word in here, am I?
I love it.
When we got our pocket money, I remember being 5 and I was given 10 cents. And he sat down with me and he broke it down on a piece of paper. 10 cents total, 1 cent to the church, 2 cents candy, like whatever it was, I can't remember. But he always said, make sure you're giving back. Always be giving back. And I think it's a natural part of life. All my siblings do it. I show that to my children. My wife's mother, the same thing. She started the bone marrow donor registry in Australia. It was nothing, but built up to 100,000 people. Yeah. And I think we learn it, so I make it very clear to my kids, and I think you all here is such an amazing opportunity because in your work, your families, your friends, and your children, the community around you are seeing you not just having a job, but having a vocation that actually gives back to people on other sides of the planet. And that is an amazing legacy to have, I think.
You're preaching to the choir. I joined doTERRA about 3.5 years ago, and I was so blown away by these people. I think everyone would say, well, yeah, once you've been Wolverine, we know what the box office, we've read what you made in that last movie. Of course you can be charitable now, and we'll get back to that, but these guys, before they know they've made it in doTERRA, they're struggling, they're putting in 18-hour days, and I'm watching, hearing things back that they're funding orphanages in Kenya. They're in Haiti doing things. We had an award winner today who did incredible work in Haiti. But tell me about that. Obviously, your father was a huge influence, but I know from what I've read and seen that your wife in particular is very charitably minded. And before you had made it, when you didn't know if you were going to have anything, you were doing this. What has that done to your entire family, and how is that? And what can you tell people who have not made it yet why they should do it that way?
Well, what I was taught was, of course, you have to take care of your family, and then the circle of influence just keeps growing. So as your heart opens, and as you fully understand, which everyone in this room does, that the more you give, the more you get, then naturally that generosity just grows, and you start to feel for people. But I have to tell you, my wife taught me really what true opening of the heart is, because sometimes, I'll admit, we all do things, oh, it's the right thing to do, we should do it. My wife is compelled, has always been compelled. And as she would say to me, always, giving is not about money. Money is another form of energy. She always says it's a form of energy, and you can use energy whichever way you like. Like, we wake up every single day with God-given energy and God-given heart, and you can sit on the couch all day if you want. You can do whatever you want. You can use that energy, and money is the same thing. Time is valuable. You can always give, even if it's just a smile, even if it is seeing someone on the street, you buy them a meal. There's always a way to give, and what happens is that generosity just seems to grow. And my wife teaches me every single day. There was one morning, I remember, I was shooting at nights, which means you shoot till the sun comes up. And I came home, and Deb said, let's go and get breakfast. Let's take the kids for breakfast. I know you need to sleep, but let's just go and have breakfast. And we did. So I was very tired. On our way, there was a homeless man in the street. And Deb said, I need you to stop. We've got to get some breakfast for this man. And I said, babe, can I just get a cup of coffee? Can I just get a cup of coffee? We'll go back. And she said, okay, we'll go back. She said, that's a good idea. We'll go and get breakfast, and we'll get some. We'll go back and give it to the man. So we got breakfast, we drove back to where the man was, and the man had moved. And I said, oh, well, next time. She goes, no, not next time. We're going to drive around until we find that man. And I said, he's homeless. We have no idea. And he goes, but we're going to find him. Because I told you to stop, and you made me go to... I said, okay, we'll find him. An hour later, it may not have been warm, but Deb got out of the car and gave the man an omelette. So, but that's just, she cannot help herself. And I am humbled and taught by her every single day.
You mentioned at the start of talking about your dad that he said you may have been a little thin-skinned. And I heard once when you talked about when you decided you wanted to become an actor, get into the performing arts, you were bullied a little bit.
You've done your research, Kirk. Wow. Yeah.
Some of these guys, they jump in and they were supposed to be a doctor, an accountant, or whatever, and they've taken this new career thing. So they know a little bit of resistance at the start of a career.
Yeah.
Tell me about that journey.
I was 11. A teacher came up to me and said, you have talent as a dancer. There's no dance at this school. So you should go and get dancing lessons. And I love dancing. So I was like, great. I went home and I said to my dad, I'd like to get dancing lessons. And my brother overheard. And I'm going to say he said the word sissy, but it wasn't the word sissy. And I was 11. I was like, what do you mean? He goes, well, only sissies are dancers, right? And so I didn't dance. I just said, oh, well, I'm not a sissy. I'm not going to dance. So, my dad's raising his five. He just dropped the ball. Cut to 18, when I was 18, 7 years later, Dad took that same brother and myself to see 42nd Street. And at interval, my brother came up to me and said, I said something so stupid to you many years ago. You belong up on that stage, and I'm really sorry for what I said. And it, yeah, it wasn't like I was thinking all those 7 years. I just had forgotten about it. Unlike Billy Elliot, I'm the un-Billy Elliot story, right? I just dropped it. So I went the very next day and got a dancing lesson. I never stopped taking dancing lessons. I actually, to this day, dance an hour, hour and a half every day, and I love it. It's a passion. I don't care what anybody says, right? And by the way, no dancer is a sissy, I'm telling you. The pain those dancers go through is brutal, not one of them. But, you know, I really admire my brother coming up and saying that to me, and I think it's a different generation now. I think the young generation, and I'm really proud to be part of movies like The Greatest Showman and that song, This Is Me, which is just saying be proud of who you are. What makes you different makes you special. And I'm sure there's some people here today, or people, you know, who are watching, who are starting off, who have a passion and a fire in their gut, and they feel like, this is me. This job, this company, what I'm doing now feels right. I know I'm on the right path. And some people may be saying, but that's stupid. You went to college, you went to med school, what are you doing? I got my first job as an actor when I was 26. I didn't believe I had the ability. I wasn't sure I was going to be able to do it, but I never ever stopped in the back of my head dreaming that one day it'd become true. So I understand people might say, oh, well, you know, you've made it, you're successful now. For many, many years I wasn't, but all along I loved it. And I would put in 15, 16 hours a day, every day, because I loved it. I never missed a day at drama school. I never missed, so I know you know this, but no matter where you're at, dream big. Dream as big as you can possibly dream. Because if you believe in that dream, it will come true. I promise you it will come true.
You told Emily and me last night that the way you dream has evolved, and even the way you prepare for your dreaming has evolved. And you mentioned a little bit about Deb's influence on your believing in your dreams. Can you kind of go through that?
My wife is a manifester, right? She can manifest things that I have no idea how they happen. And by the way, everything that's happened in my career, everything, she said to me before we were even dating. She looked at me, she said, I'm telling you what's going to happen. And I thought she was, wow, she's really fallen for me because she's off a rocket. Like, that's crazy. And everything that she said was true. Even down to The Greatest Showman, which, by the way, we didn't open that great, but when she said, I promise you, this thing is going to catch on. This is not big opening weekend and then it drops off. This is going to be word of mouth. People are going to champion. It's going to, like, she always did that. So, after a while, I was like, I get this. Whatever it is you want in your life, could be business success, could be a better relationship with your brother, your children. It could be how you feel in yourself. It could be, I want to feel a different way when I wake up in the morning, or I just want to be at peace with myself. Whatever goal you have, it's easy to say dream big, but there's work to dreaming. And what I do now, and this is totally from Deb, who was always right, except for once. Deb's not here, is she? Don't anyone share this, that I shared this. I will deny any knowledge that I shared this with you. She was wrong once. She told me not to audition for Wolverine. That's all I'm saying. She said, you're at the Royal National Theatre with Sir Trevor Nunn doing Oklahoma. What is this? You've got claws coming out of your hands. It's ridiculous. Stop it. She'd never heard of it. I go to bed at night. I don't read or turn on the TV. I lay there and I find it the most powerful time to dream, which is before you just go off to sleep, when you're very relaxed, your breathing is calm. Imagine whatever it is you want to imagine, the power of your imagination. If you believe it inside, it will materialize outside. So I don't just run a film in my head. I imagine the smell, I imagine what that person's saying, I imagine the sounds, was there grass? The more detail I can put into it, the better. And usually I drop off to sleep. And right now, usually I am dreaming mainly about my kids, right, who are 18 and 13. And sometimes the evidence is pretty slim first thing in the morning that my dream worked. Yeah, what, Dad? Is usually what the first thing in the morning is. But try it. I find that really works. If you get 5 minutes, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, sit down, take 3 or 4 really deep breaths, and just put a little work into dreaming. And I can tell you, all the sports people do it. That's how they do it. They imagine not, I hope I win. They've already won. And then it's just a matter of it happening. Hey, you don't have to believe in it either. Just try it. It works.
You told me that you got something next to your bed that kind of helps with this process.
This is true. There is a doTERRA vaporizer next to my bed. So, happy to talk to anyone about exactly what to put inside that's going to help with the dreams. But I'm just going to go with frankincense for now. Seriously, they are all over my house. Truly.
Some of you know, my background is politics. I took a very indirect route into essential oils and this business. Most fulfilling thing I've ever done, by the way. But I still have that part of me, and Hugh Jackman is in a movie that opens on Election Day that has got all the buzz, Oscar buzz for leading actor, incredible reviews. It's called The Front Runner. You were playing failed presidential candidate Gary Hart, one of the most interesting month, 3 weeks, whatever, of this rise and fall of this man. What made you choose it? What kind of preview can you give to us? Because I want everyone to see it in about 1 month.
He's an extraordinary man, Gary Hart. He's 82 now. Just celebrating his 60th wedding anniversary with his wife. I went up and spent time with them. He was a Democrat, but very independent. He actually was at Senator John McCain's funeral as a pallbearer. One of the old school, very principled, proud American, believed in civic duty. And he ran, in 1987, he started his run 20 points ahead. He was the front runner. He was pretty universally regarded as going to be the next president of the United States. And 3 weeks later, he left politics forever. And it was, if you study political science, probably it's not something you're going to major on. It was just 3 weeks of politics. I was Australian. I didn't really know much about it, to be honest. But I think no matter where you're from in the world, and there's people from all around the world here today, there's a sense, I feel, and I feel it, how did we get to where we are today? Like, things feel so different, so divisive. It's just, and that's not just here, that is all around the world. And how did we get to where we are today? And these 3 weeks may seem insignificant, but actually I think the movie says that this is a very important turning point, particularly between the press and politics. And what the movie's really asking is, what's important and what is interesting? What flaws will we accept in our leaders and what won't we? And it's trying to start conversations. So hopefully, if you guys see it, it'll start a conversation. So.
Thank you. I want to...
can I just say, there's a fly on the stage. It makes me feel really at home. So thank you, Kirk, for bringing that.
Where's the Terra shield? Eric, throw me some Terra shield. I love...
Oh, sorry, for Kirk. That was for you, Kirk.
Oh, I love you too.
I love you too.
I want to end where we started with Ducali's Dream. I really hope you'll all go see it on Amazon. You will immediately find yourself looking through Hugh Jackman's eyes. One quote that kind of hit me is he said, I'll do the first one that didn't get me quite as much, and then the next one that really took me out was, he said, I love my coffee, so I want it to be good. I want it to be high quality. I also want to know that it's nourishing the people who work to plant it, to harvest it, to roast it. If you followed Ducali's Dream, it was not a one-time thing. He's been at the United Nations. He started a foundation. He gave you the update on Ducali and the other four countries where he's growing coffee. I don't mean to play which one's bigger, but any idea how many countries we're sourcing our oils from?
You know I know the answer, and it's 46, right? 46. But hey,
I can't
one
sing.
cup of coffee at a time, one drop of oil at a time, we're going to change the planet, right?
That's right. I can't sing, I can't dance. I don't look the same as him. He had a skin-tight black t-shirt on last night. Had to be something, right? The other quote that you will, especially those of you who have been on a co-impact sourcing trip, I told you, please go and look up my daughter's video. It's 2 minutes. I watched his kids on their trip. The trees that were planted in their names, the impact that you could see in their eyes. It's Lovely Lucy, Guatemala. If you Google that, you'll find her video she made in Guatemala. Do not, and I can't emphasize this enough, do not just Google Lovely Lucy. Please do not do that. I'm sure she's lovely, but she's
It reminds me of a friend of mine who told his mother she had to get a Gmail account, and so she Googled Gmale. She goes, I do not want that account.
But there's a moment in the movie when you capture what we felt. It gave me goosebumps because it really, you saw Corey's incredible presentation. So many of our growers that we've flown in from around the world are sourcing people who are going through all sorts of difficulties to help this work. And it's powerful, but it's not as powerful as this sentence. And you said, it's not just an intellectual exercise of economics. It's about a guy with a wife and 5 children.
Yeah, these are real human stories. And thank you. I've loved watching, I've been backstage watching what has been happening. The co-impact sourcing responsibly directly from the farmers is not easy. I know it's not easy. I do it as well. And we work directly with our farmers. It's not cheaper, but it is the right thing to do, and you guys are doing it, and I applaud you for doing it. And it's, I think, so hard to feel, what can I do? How can I help? The problems seem insurmountable, but actually one step at a time, doing what is in front of you. And all of you in this room have gone not just one step, but many steps by what you do every day, creating a great product that people love, right? Got to have that. People got to love it. But you are helping change the lives of the people who are involved at the source of that product, and you should be eternally proud of that.
It's been an honor of a lifetime to be with you last night and today. Thank you so much for being with us. May I ask one more thing?
You want to be my lawyer? What's that? You want to be my lawyer?
I actually, well, no, I'm a recovering attorney. I don't do that anymore. I'm very happy in my passion.
You can ask me anything.
Would you give us one last song?
I would love to. I'd love to, of course.
Thank you.